you have to see and make them realize, make them think about it rather, about the state of relationships. There is a interesting, very interesting example. In Mussoorie there is a NGO institution called Sept, and they work on education, and they get children from the area, surrounding area. So they are about 15 kilometers after Mussoorie. So the Kempty village, nearby villages they get, and they have been doing work there for about 18 years, and they have conducted some very interesting experiment. So they show children a picture, raiment suiting, right? Person who is dressed with a suit and everything, and sitting along with his wife wearing beautiful sari, and they ask the children, write down what you think about these people. Just write down properties, and then they collect the answer sheets and they collate together. And this experiment they have done 20 times, 30 times. There are two things which come out most commonly. One is about they have money, they are rich, then they are sabhya, civilized. They are civilized. Sabhya is the word in Hindi. So then they bring out a scenario. So they say, okay, you are in your village, it's evening time, and there is a knock on your door. You open the door, these two people are standing in front of you. Mussoorie gets tourists sometimes go around also, so would not be very unusual. So what would you do? So they said, obviously they have lost the way. Said, what would you do? So they say, we'll give them food, and if it has become dark, we'll give them a place to stay. In the morning we'll take them and leave them at the nearest point. Said, okay. Said, now suppose you have gone to the city, you have lost the way. So you see a house, you knock, and the door opens and these people are standing. They have opened the door. What do you think they will do? So who is more civilized? So the next point is, it is not that these people are bad, it is the situation where they are living. They are living in a city. So city breeds this kind of behavior, and village breeds the other kind of behavior. We have said, you are all backward, you are no good, you are underdeveloped, and they have come to believe it. So they are all coming here. So this requires attention to be drawn, their attention to be drawn as to what is civilized, what is developed. Does development mean only the sthul, or does it mean the sukshma? Okay. So they need to reflect on what are the relationships in their, wherever they have come from. In that environment, what are the elements which are there? If the relationships are not the way they ought to be, what can be done about them? Rather than go with the feeling that now I am developed, these people are underdeveloped, or these people are backward. If you measure by another way, it is the city which is backward, the village which is developed. Not that developed means everything is okay, but then we need to understand what is right, what is wrong. If that sense goes wrong, then things will never be right. Things will be random. Sometimes something will happen, another time something else will happen. So in the absence of right understanding, we cannot even evaluate or understand what are relationships and what are right relationships. So this is going to be a critical factor, and this is one of the critical elements that needs to be brought out. In the Gurukulam, there will be all these children who will be living together. So what kind of an environment is there right in the Gurukulam? What kind of relationships children have with each other, students have with each other? What kind of relationships do teachers have with each other? What kind of relationships you as directors of Gurukulam have with your teachers?
Family relationships.
Yes. And the relationships you have, they will play an important role in what relationships will develop in the institution. So this is going to be a very important part. This is where, as we understand things, we have to live. We have to live according to that. The transmission of these things is not by words. It can be through words also, but when they see people following that, it's faster. So it's important to have discussion on human values, discussion on sahaj and natural acceptance of people, on their inner harmony, and those discussions through concepts, through examples. But finally, they will believe you, they will follow you only if you live it, only if the teachers follow it, live according to it. So that, I think, is going to be one of the goals that you should have, of how to bring in this atmosphere, a family atmosphere. When students have relationships, when they are living together, there will be relationship of trust and respect. So these two are going to be very important. Trust means Vishwas, and the relationship of trust means that I believe